In Leading Learning, Standards of Practice for School Library Learning Commons, the Canadian Library Association outlines a vision for school library transformation. A key feature that differentiates a library learning commons from a traditional library is a focus on student-centered and participatory learning with a goal to empower the learning community. To make the vision a reality, the needs and desires of students must inform decisions and planning as we transform our libraries into dynamic library learning commons. How do we discover the needs and desires of students? Well, we have to ask them. The Boston Student Advisory Council put it this way: being the primary consumers of education and spending so much time in the classroom makes students prime candidates to be evaluators of their learning experiences. Our education determines our future. Let us have a say in our future. How can we provide students with opportunities to have their say? And how can we support student voices to foster student agency and ownership over the library learning commons? Well, many school, public, and academic libraries have recognized the need to gather data on student library use, needs, and preferences, and have done so in a variety of ways. These include analyzing circulation data, administering surveys, conducting interviews, and holding focus groups. But gathering data is not enough. Young people need to feel like their voice is valued and respected. We can do this by listening, then acting, and ultimately empowering students to be agents in their own learning. There are many examples from innovative librarians that we can learn from. Librarians who are creating library learning commons where student voice is heard, students feel a sense of ownership, and student agency is fostered. Here are just a few of the things that we can do to get started. Showcasing student work is a great way to include student voice. This means adding student-created books to collections, but also hosting student film festivals and poetry readings. Student digital projects can reach a broader audience when they're featured on the Library Learning Commons website. By showcasing student work of all kinds in our collections, we show students that we value them not just as consumers of knowledge, but also creators. The hallmark of a genuine library learning commons is that everyone is a teacher and a learner. Another way is allowing students the freedom to make choices. This means honoring book selections without judgment and involving students in collection development. This can involve eliciting student recommendations and also providing ways to share student reviews, and not just of books, but also websites, databases, and multimedia selections. Even offering a variety of seating options can empower students. Create zones with corresponding volume levels so that students can make informed choices about where they want to sit, depending on the type of learning environment they need for their task. A self-checkout allows students to use the library independently, so that not every transaction must be moderated by the librarian. These small steps demonstrate that we trust students when they're in our libraries. These changes don't diminish the role of the librarian. In fact, as Philip Williams says, when our role has achieved the highest level, our patrons have been empowered to demonstrate agency in their use of the library. This is something we should be striving for. Perhaps one of the most powerful ways we can ensure that student voice is heard in our libraries is through the implementation of a student advisory board. In Heather Turner's middle school library, there are 90 student iStaff who are in charge of things such as charging mobile devices, learning how to use the technology in the school so that they can take on a leadership role in classrooms by helping fellow students with technology issues. Heather describes the role of her iStaff this way: they make suggestions to make the LLC a better place. They are leaders to their peers. At Penn State Schuylkill campus, the Student Library Advisory Board works to locate and raise funds to purchase materials of student choice to donate to the library. They develop ideas for creating a better student experience at the library and act as peer advocates of the library to encourage student use. At Lamar Middle School, Colleen Graves empowered her teen advisory board to create a makerspace in the library. This led to monthly maker events, chosen, organized, and promoted by the students. She states, "At our school, students now see the library as a place where they not only belong, but a place where they can become a cutting-edge leader." These libraries and librarians exemplify many of the standards outlined in Leading Learning. They show that when an effort is made to listen and respond to student voice, the result is empowered learners who are ready and willing to take on an active role in not just their own learning, but also in the learning community as a whole. According to Leading Learning, school library programs should be an agent for change and at the center of teaching and learning. Students are partners in bringing about that change. Let's give them their say.